of the most common methods used by students when revising is flashcards. So in this film I'll talk a bit about how you can use flashcards in a really simple but smart way to make the learning you get from them most effective. Flashcards are a really simple idea. Here's one for example. They have two sides with related information on each side. So that might be, as in this case, a question and an answer, but it might be a date and what happened on that date. It might be a name, what that person said. It could be a concept or theory and what that theory or concept is on the other side. Typically one side is very short, a few words, and the other side provides the detail. I'm going to show you a way of using flashcards that you can adapt to the way you learn, the types of flashcards you have, and the subjects you study. The Lightening System relies on the power of what we call spaced learning or spaced repetition. That is, that you learn things most effectively if you look at them, then leave gaps, and then revisit them. You can adapt the Lightening approach to suit your particular needs, the types of flashcards you have, the subjects you study, and the ways you like to learn. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview here and a brief practical example that is really simple and that you can use tomorrow. I've got a simple set of history revision cards here. It could be any subject and it could be any style. These actually are question and answer. And what I'm going to do is go through a simple process where they get divided into three piles according to how well you know them. So that the third pile is going to end up as ones you feel pretty confident about, and the first one things you don't really know. And the aim will be to move all of the cards into that third pile as learning takes place, building up your knowledge and building up your confidence. We're going to start by just seeing how many of these we know. So if I do know the card, I'm going to put it into a second pile here. So without going and answering them all, I'm going to imagine that I sort of know these cards, but I don't know these cards. So this is now my pile of cards that I've answered correctly once, and these are the ones that I've answered incorrectly. Because I've answered them correctly once doesn't mean that my knowledge is totally confident. So I am going to have to go back to these, but probably not as much as I need to go back to these ones. So in my next session, and I might leave a day or two because I want to get the benefits of what we call spaced practice of leaving gaps between revision, I'm going to go back to this first pile and have another look at them and see in that period when I might have done a little bit more studying how many I now know the answer to that I didn't know before. So I'm not going to go through them all, but let's say I know that one, but I don't know that one, so the ones I don't know stay in that first pile. I do know that one, I don't know that one, and there we may end up like that with a few moved over into the second pile. My next activity will be to go through that second pile. I might do that in the same session if it didn't take long, but if I've got hundreds of cards it may take quite a long time. So I'm going to go through this second pile. Now these are the ones I've answered correctly once. Now I go through them again to check because I may have forgotten. The ones I answer correctly again are going to go into my third pile. This is my pile of questions I feel pretty confident about the answer to. If I get them right, they go into that third pile, but I may get them wrong, in which case they have to go back to my first pile of sort of don't know questions. So they're going to go from my second pile over there or back there until I have a first pile and a third pile, and this pile either doesn't have anything in it or just a few that I haven't had time to do. So I've now got three piles, ones I don't know, ones I have answered right once, and ones that I've answered right twice. But even if I've answered them right twice, I still need to check that pile occasionally. If I get them wrong, they'll move back to that pile. If I get them right, they'll stay in there. So the aim of my revision with these flashcards is to gradually move my second pile over to my third pile, my first pile into my second pile and into there. So that once I've answered every question at least twice or possibly more times correctly, it's going to end up in that third pile.